There's an alarming trend going on social media right now where a lot of people are posting about social norms that they want to give up or they're no longer going to do. This concerns me. And in today's video, I'm going to be talking about 5 different social norms and standards that we need to keep and why it matters. So anyway, welcome back. So hi everybody, if you're new here, I'm Monica. I'm 54 years old. I was recently laid off. I am a homeowner. I have an established career. And in addition to that, I'm a heart attack survivor and I've lost 142 pounds. So I'd like to share some of the things I've learned along the way. Anyway, let's get after it. First off, social norms and manners are not a trivial thing. It's kind of the thing that holds our society together and lets us live, peacefully together. And when that doesn't happen, society itself starts to fray. And so anyway, that's just the baseline. One of the big things I'm seeing that people are saying they're going to, dress however they want. The counterpoint that I would like to make is, being well-dressed matters. It does a few things. It signals respect for yourself, your self-worth, and respect for others. And I want to tell a little bit of a story. It's kind of a funny story, but this is a real life thing that happened. So I have a friend who got married a couple of years ago. She threw just an absolutely beautiful, wonderful, once in a lifetime wedding. Probably cost her, well, I know it cost her well over 6 figures for this wedding. And it was black tie. The invitation said black tie. This was not black tie optional, it was black tie. Anybody who knows the bride knows how she really is a fashionista. She cares about these things. And so, that's what she had wanted. And it was a wonderful wedding. She had 4 bands and it was just a wonderful time. Well, one of the guests, I show up, we're at the, ceremony, and one of the guests, who's a well-established person, she showed up in, everybody's dressed in their black tie outfits and things like that. And everybody's looking fabulous and, showing appreciation and joy. That's another thing. You kind of show appreciation and joy for the bride and groom, and it just adds to the fun. Anyway, she showed up to this black tie event in a short, sort of frocky sundress type of thing, more casual tone to the outfit. Frankly, it looked like she kind of got it off of her bedroom floor. And I was giving her stink eye during the ceremony. She didn't see me, but I was doing it. And I was thinking it. And I mean, the bottom line is, and this is a truth that maybe you don't want to hear, but it became a joke, and now we laugh at other parties when people show up and they're not dressed well. We tell them they get the frock award. So that all stems from somebody showing up. Again, this is an example of social norms. People, newsflash, people do think less of you, and they don't respect you as much because you don't respect yourself if you're showing up to events where you're not making an effort and not taking care of yourself. So I think we need to get better at that, and that is a social norm that I am in favor of keeping. Moving on to social norm number 2. And this is a big one. Let's talk about it. Maybe people don't want to say, but, hygiene. Hygiene is not an optional thing. You do owe this to your fellow citizens and coworkers and, wherever, just society, to be clean, to not smell. You look dirty. This is not acceptable, and I'm seeing a big, huge trend. Another example I'll give you, another story that I'll tell. I was recently at a play, lovely play, and, this is at a major theater downtown Chicago. This isn't some offbeat kind of, weirdo play. This was a very nice production. The tickets were quite expensive, and we had very good tickets. Actually, they were gifted to me from the bride at the very fancy wedding. So she gifted me these play tickets. So I went to the play, and literally, I kid you not, there were people that were there that, I could smell them. Their hair wasn't clean. They didn't make an effort. they went to this play as if they were kind of like, in their living room and sitting around in their pajamas, and they just kind of rolled out of bed and went to this play. And I just, it's just really not okay. And I think that this is something, I really don't think it's that much to ask. And so that's just, something that I want to talk about. And again, we need to not ditch that social norm. It's really not okay. And we need to keep it. Another example, I don't want to go out. There's a big trend with men and their beards right now. And they're fine if you keep them groomed. Just like with women, keep your nails, keep them short, keep them groomed, keep them nice looking. These long nails and beards and things like that are not, well kept are really gross. I don't want to go out to dinner and, be eating with somebody and have, he's got food caught in his beard. It's gross. So it's respect for others, and it's really not optional. You need to show up being clean, in clean clothes, and not smelling. It's better for everybody. So please, let's do that. All right. So moving on. Social norm number 3, and I really do think that this is a big one, and it really particularly bothers me that we need to, and this is in the professional realm. Again, I mentioned, I am looking for work. However, I've been a professional, and one thing is, if you're, I guess it's a pet peeve, it's about responding in a timely manner to emails. It's respect for others' time. Responding to meeting invites. I can't tell you how often this happens where I'll send out a meeting notice and I get no response. And, are you coming to this meeting? Do I need to reschedule this meeting? Did you not see the meeting notice? I mean, it really puts your coworkers in a bad spot. From an email standpoint, I send out an email and maybe you can't answer it or provide me with what I need right away, and I can understand that. But you know what? How about just a quick note back that says, "Hey, I got it. I can't answer. I'm hunting this down," or message received or something. Because what's happened is I'm sitting on the other side of that email, wondering, what's happening, and I don't want to be a spaz and email you again. So you put your coworkers in a bad spot. Another thing that I think from a professional standpoint is, and this goes to all the remote workers out there, and shout out to the remote workers. I'm not against you. I've been a remote worker. I work harder and more productive being a remote worker, but couple things. I don't take meetings, Zoom calls while I'm grocery shopping or I'm in the car out doing errands. That signals to me that you don't have respect for my time, that you're not prepared. It can slow your teammates down. And so these are things that, you need to be a little bit more attentive. You are being paid for this job. And, respect for others' time. And it's just better teamwork and it's better overall. So, you know what? Let's get better at professional mannerisms, not worse. Okay? Anyway, moving on. The fourth thing that I'm going to talk about, and I've been guilty of this, and the category is not interrupting. And you know what? I do get excited and I get talking and I'm at a party and I can't, wait to, say something and all that. And I'm guilty of it, but it is rude. And again, it's, you're not listening to others. Same, I would put under that category, taking out your phone. If I show up to meet you for dinner or a meeting or whatever, and you're talking on the phone, that signals disrespect and that you don't respect my time and you don't respect me. And I think that that is just really something that we need to work on. So I'm not going to spend a lot of time on interrupting, but it's kind of just something that we need to be a little bit better at. I do have a rule for one of our family members who's a wonderful person, but, talking about behaving at professional events and things like that, we have a rule, and it's called don't talk, don't drink, just listen. And you know what? It's a good rule to live by. So let's get back to that. And I think we'll all get along a lot better. Meetings will be more productive. You'll probably get more done on your teams. And we need to keep that one and not ditch it. And then lastly, and this is one that, I also have a story for this, but, if you're a guest at a dinner party or you're at a guest at a funeral, you don't, well, put it this way. At my brother's funeral, my brother had died. If you're invited to a dinner party, it's not really okay to just take or ask to take the food home and eat leftover food. I think that's boorish behavior. It's just boorish. It's uncouth. It's not how well-behaved people act. So here's the example. My brother died. It was actually a very sad death. He was a young man. He was only 40, and he just died. So without going into too much of that, we had his funeral mass and luncheon at an Italian restaurant. And at the end of the mass, or actually end of the funeral, one of the guests, who's really not terribly close, wasn't really terribly close to my brother, nor terribly close to my family. I mean, we know this person. We've known him for a long time. He's more a close friend of a family member's and sort of been around all these events for a long time. But what he did, and it's still to this day, I think about it, and it just didn't reflect well on him. And he's not a bad person, but he's a little bit of a goon. He took all of the leftover food home. And, he's sitting there talking to my mother while he's packing up the food. And I just, it stuck with me. And it's not right. And I'm thinking, you know what? Here's a grieving family over a very sad death. And, the deceased mother, who is now alone because her husband, my father's gone. So my mom's alone. You're going to take that food home? First of all, it wasn't offered to you. If it's offered to you, then that's totally fine. But if it's not offered to you and you're at a dinner party or you've been invited as a guest somewhere, have boundaries. So anyway, in keeping, I don't know, I guess I really want to know, do you guys think that I'm a spaz? Do you think I'm, a little bit militant about these things? Or do you think that there's other social norms that I haven't mentioned that we need to keep? So if so, by the way, I've got my flowers for St. Patrick's Day. Happy St. Patrick's Day, everybody. Anyway, I've got some other videos on some things about social norms and, self-respect and things like that. I hope you'll check them out. And anyway, have a great day, everybody. Thanks so much. And let me know what you think. Thanks. Bye.